Have you ever met someone who didn't need to say a word, yet everyone felt their presence? You couldn't explain it, but something about them drew you in, like gravity. It wasn't about looks, money, or status. It was something deeper, something invisible. You could feel their calm in the middle of chaos, their confidence without arrogance, their power without noise. And maybe, in that moment, you wondered why you didn't feel the same way. Why your presence didn't shake the air like theirs did. Why no matter how hard you tried to be noticed, you still felt unseen. There's a reason for that. Most people move through life trying to create an image that feels strong, confident, untouchable. But the truth is, that image is fragile. It cracks under silence. It disappears when nobody's watching. What you've been chasing, attention, recognition, validation, none of it gives you the feeling you're really looking for. That feeling of peace within your own skin. That quiet certainty that doesn't need to prove itself. That's what the rare ones have. That's their aura. It's not something they were born with. It's not something they learned from books or copied from others. It's something they found when they stopped trying to be someone, when they stopped performing, for a world that's always watching, judging, comparing. They stepped away from the noise, from the endless need to be more, do more, show more. And in that stillness, they found something most people never touch, the truth of who they are. You see, the world teaches you to chase an identity, to build a version of yourself that looks powerful, successful, worthy. But the more layers you add, the more you lose touch with the part of you that's real. The more you try to shine, the more you dim your natural light. The aura of the 1% isn't a performance. It's a return to simplicity, to presence, to being. Think about it. When you're with someone who's truly present, you can feel it. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't need to prove their worth. Their energy feels grounded, steady, like they see something you don't. That's not ego, it's awareness. And that awareness radiates. It calms the people around them. It draws respect without demanding it. Most people will never experience that level of presence because they're trapped in the illusion of becoming, always trying to reach a version of themselves that doesn't exist yet, always thinking peace will come after they achieve something, but that after never comes. There's always another goal, another comparison, another reason to feel not enough. So they stay in the chase, blind to the fact that what they're searching for is already inside them. The few who see through that illusion, who stop chasing and start noticing, begin to move differently. They realize that the mind's constant noise isn't truth. It's fear. Fear of being unseen, fear of being ordinary, fear of being still. But stillness isn't emptiness. Stillness is power. It's the moment you realize you don't have to force your energy. You just have to stop blocking it. That's when the shift happens. The walls fall away. The pretending stops. You stop worrying about how you appear and start feeling who you are. You stop trying to control how people see you and start mastering how you see yourself. And suddenly, you don't need to impress anyone. Your energy speaks for you. Your calm becomes magnetic. Your silence becomes strength. This is the aura only a few ever find. It's not taught, it's remembered. It's not about what you gain, it's about what you let go of. Every false identity, every mask, every belief that told you you had to earn your worth. When you release those illusions, what remains is something raw, real, unshakable. That's what makes the 1% different. They don't seek to stand out, they simply are. And that's what draws the world to them. Because in their presence, others catch a glimpse of what freedom feels like. The kind of freedom you can't fake. The kind that comes from finally being enough. Not because the world said so, but because you did. When you start to wake up, something inside you resists. The part of you built on fear starts to panic. It whispers that you'll lose everything if you stop pretending. It tells you that without the mask, you'll be invisible. But that's the lie keeping you trapped. Because the truth is, what you call invisibility is actually peace. What you call weakness is authenticity. The moment you stop performing for approval, you begin living in alignment with your own power. And that power doesn't shout, it doesn't need to. It simply exists, undeniable and unshakable. The world wants you distracted. It feeds on your doubt, your endless striving, every scroll, every comparison, every voice telling you you're behind. It all pulls you away from yourself. That's why so few people ever find their real energy, because they're too busy chasing what doesn't matter. The aura of the few isn't built in chaos, it's born in clarity. The clarity that comes when you no longer confuse motion with meaning, when you stop trying to keep up, and finally start waking up. But awakening isn't comfortable. It means letting go of who you thought you were. It means facing the silence you've been avoiding, the silence where your fears live, the silence that holds every truth you've buried. Most people never go there. They distract themselves, thinking stillness means doing nothing. But stillness isn't the absence of movement. It's the presence of awareness. It's the moment you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. That's where your real strength begins. You start to notice the space between your thoughts, the calm beneath the noise. And in that space, you find something no achievement can give you: freedom. Freedom from the need to control how life unfolds. Freedom from the pressure to constantly prove your worth. Freedom from the exhausting race to be enough. And when you taste that kind of freedom, everything changes. You stop looking outside for validation because you finally trust what's within. People will feel that shift in you. They won't know what changed, but they'll feel it. Your energy will start speaking before you do. You'll walk differently, breathe differently, move through the world with quiet certainty. That's the aura the 1% carry, the kind that can't be faked, copied, or taught. It's an energy born from awareness, and awareness is the highest form of intelligence. When you reach that state, you stop reacting to life and start responding with intention. Every challenge becomes a mirror. Every fear becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes an opening. You no longer see life as something happening to you, but something unfolding through you. That's the level of consciousness that separates those who drift from those who create. The ones who drift are controlled by their emotions. The ones who create understand them. And once you understand yourself, the world starts to bend in ways you never imagined. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You can't reach that state by wishing for it. You have to face yourself completely. Every insecurity, every wound, every piece of your past you've tried to hide. You have to stand in the fire of your own truth until it purifies you. And when it does, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing to be fixed because you realize you were never broken. You stop searching for light because you are the source of it. That's the moment you become untouchable. Not because life stops testing you, but because nothing outside of you can define you anymore. You stop reacting to people's opinions. You stop being controlled by outcomes. You stop mistaking comfort for peace. You rise above the noise, not by fighting it, but by transcending it. And that's when the aura begins to radiate without effort, not because you're trying to shine, but because you've remembered that you already do. This is what the world senses in the rare few who walk in truth. They don't follow trends. They don't compete. They move with purpose. They carry a quiet intensity that commands attention, not by force, but by frequency. You were born with that same power. It's not hidden. It's waiting. Beneath the noise, beyond the roles, behind the fear, it's there. The question is whether you'll stop long enough to feel it. Because the moment you do, everything changes. The chase ends. The pretending ends. And what begins is something the world can't ignore. Your real presence. Most people will spend their entire lives asleep, thinking they're awake. They'll repeat the same patterns, speak the same words, feel the same pain, and never question why. They'll chase what everyone else chases, status, approval, distraction, and call it purpose. They'll tell themselves they're moving forward, but inside they feel stuck, empty, disconnected. And deep down they know something is missing. That's not life, that's survival. And survival is not why you were born. You are meant to rise above the noise, to remember the truth buried beneath the layers of conditioning, to feel the pulse of something real again. Because the aura you're searching for, the energy that turns heads and silences rooms, doesn't come from what you do. It comes from who you've become. The question is, have you met that version of yourself yet? The one that doesn't crumble under pressure. The one that doesn't need the world's approval to feel whole. The one who radiates calm because they've made peace with chaos. That version of you already exists. It's waiting for you to wake up. But waking up demands courage. It means confronting every lie you've been told about who you are. It means dismantling the false sense of control you cling to. It means standing in front of the mirror and seeing the truth. Without filters, without denial, without excuses. And that truth will shake you. Because it reveals how much of your life has been lived for others, not yourself. How much of your potential has been buried under fear. But once you face it, something powerful happens. You stop running. You stop hiding. You stop pretending to be small. You begin to move differently. You start choosing silence over noise, depth over distraction, alignment over approval. You stop forcing connections and start attracting energy that matches yours. People won't understand it at first. They'll sense something different in you. Something steady, something untouchable. That's the aura of self-awareness. It doesn't need to be explained, it simply is. It's what happens when you no longer live from the mind, but from the soul. When your energy no longer depends on circumstances, but radiates from within. And once you taste that alignment, mediocrity becomes unbearable. You can't unsee your potential. You can't unknow your power. You can't return to the version of you that settled for less just to feel safe. Because safety isn't peace. It's a cage disguised as comfort. And the longer you stay there, the smaller you become. The world doesn't need more people hiding behind masks. It needs people who've remembered their light. People who walk into chaos with calm eyes and grounded hearts. People who are not moved by noise because they've mastered their silence. That kind of presence changes everything. It shifts how you speak, how you think, how you move. You stop reacting to every storm and start becoming the stillness inside it. You stop chasing validation and start embodying truth. And that embodiment doesn't just inspire others, it liberates them. Because when someone who's awake enters the room, everyone else feels it. Their energy exposes illusions. Their peace becomes contagious. Their existence becomes proof that there's another way to live. But to reach that level, you have to decide. No one can wake you up. No one can give you your power back. You have to take it. You have to stop blaming, stop waiting, stop hoping for permission. Life is not waiting for you to be ready. It's happening now. Every moment you hesitate, the world moves on. Every excuse you tell yourself is another chain around your potential. You break those chains not by force, but by awareness. By remembering who you are underneath the noise. That's where freedom lives. That's where the aura of the few is born. It's not a secret. It's a state of being. And the moment you step into it, life begins to mirror your energy back to you. The right people appear. The right opportunities flow. The right timing unfolds. Because you're no longer chasing, you're aligning. You've become the calm in the storm, the light in the dark, the proof that peace and power can coexist. And once you reach that point, there's no turning back. Because you'll finally understand that what separates the 1% from the rest isn't luck, talent, or timing. It's awareness. The awareness to see through the illusion, to rise above the noise, and to live fully awake. That's your real power. That's the aura the world can't ignore. And it's been waiting for you all along. The moment you awaken to who you truly are, life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something that flows through you. You start to see the patterns, the repetition, the way the world tries to keep you small. You notice how fear has been used to control you, how doubt has been disguised as logic, and how the world taught you to measure your worth by comparison. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. The illusion begins to crumble, and what's left is power, raw, untamed, undeniable power. Not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that masters the self. That's the point where most people retreat, because awakening destroys comfort. It exposes the lies you built your identity on. It takes the mask you've worn your whole life and rips it away. At first, you'll feel naked, vulnerable, uncertain. But then something extraordinary happens. You start to feel alive, because for the first time, you're not playing a role. You're not trying to be enough. You just are. That's where the aura of authenticity is born. It's not polished. It's not perfect. It's real. And that reality is magnetic. The people who walk in that energy aren't fearless. They've just learned that fear is not a wall, but a doorway. They walk through it again and again until fear becomes fuel. Every time doubt whispers, they step forward anyway. Every time pain hits, they listen instead of running. They let it shape them, refine them, reveal them. That's what gives them presence, the kind that can't be shaken by circumstance. Because once you've faced your own darkness, the world can't scare you anymore. You start to realize that everything you once thought was missing was never missing at all. It was buried beneath layers of noise, distraction, and self-doubt. The aura you admired in others, the calm, the certainty, the confidence, it's been within you from the beginning. It just needed you to stop running from yourself long enough to feel it. That's the paradox of life. You become powerful the moment you stop trying to be. You become whole the moment you stop searching. You become free the moment you stop controlling. And that's when the shift happens. Life stops being a battle and becomes a dance. You begin to flow instead of force. You attract instead of chase. You create instead of compete. And suddenly, people start noticing something different in you. They can't explain it, but they feel it. Your energy moves differently. Your words carry weight. Your silence carries meaning. You've tapped into a frequency few ever reach. The state of being fully alive, fully aware, fully here. But don't mistake that stillness for passivity. This isn't about retreating from the world. It's about engaging with it consciously. You act, but not out of fear. You speak, but not to impress. You move, but not to escape. Everything you do comes from a place of alignment, and that alignment turns ordinary moments into miracles. Because when your inner world shifts, your outer world follows. It's not luck, it's energy. The kind of energy that bends reality around it. This is what separates the ones who drift from the ones who rise. The ones who drift keep asking for permission. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect sign, the perfect plan. The ones who rise create movement from stillness. They stop waiting to feel ready and start trusting they already are. They understand that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. And every step they take in alignment amplifies their presence until the world has no choice but to notice. You have that same potential, that same fire, that same untapped power waiting beneath the surface. The question isn't whether you have it. The question is whether you'll claim it, because life won't hand it to you. You have to choose it. You have to stand up when your mind tells you to sit down. You have to believe when nothing around you gives you proof. You have to trust that what you feel calling you is real. And when you do, the shift is irreversible. You'll stop chasing what's temporary and start building what's eternal. You'll stop seeking love and start becoming love. You'll stop asking for purpose and start living with intention. That's the moment everything aligns. The body, the mind, the soul. That's the moment the aura awakens fully. Not as something you wear, but as something you are. And once it ignites, the world can feel it. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. Your energy enters the room before you do. That's the power only the awakened carry, the 1%. The ones who remembered. The aura isn't something you earn, it's something you remember. It's the return to your natural state before the world told you who to be, before doubt crept in, before fear taught you to shrink. You've carried that energy since the beginning, but life buried it under layers of noise. The voices telling you to fit in, to tone it down, to stay safe. The systems designed to keep you chasing what doesn't matter, so you never have time to realize what does. But once awareness sparks, there's no going back. You start seeing through the illusion. You start recognizing patterns that have kept you small. And that recognition changes everything. You begin to understand that you are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness behind it. The observer, not the chaos. The calm beneath the storm. And once you realize that, fear loses its grip. It can't control you anymore because you're no longer inside it. You're watching it. You start noticing how people's moods, their energy, their chaos, once pulled you in. Now they pass through you without sticking. That's the power of presence. It's what makes the few unshakable in a world built on distraction. Every moment becomes a test of alignment. You'll be tempted to slip back into the noise, to compare, to prove, to rush. But that's where awareness becomes strength. You'll feel the pull, but you'll choose differently. You'll choose stillness over reaction, truth over comfort, growth over ego. And each time you do, your aura expands. It grows stronger, denser, harder to ignore. You begin to radiate clarity, and clarity is magnetic. People who once overlooked you start paying attention, not because you changed how you look or speak, but because your energy now speaks louder than your words ever could. But this awakening isn't gentle, it's raw. It will break the version of you built on approval. It will demand honesty so deep, it feels like shedding skin. You'll have to confront every place you've abandoned yourself just to be accepted. You'll have to stop blaming, stop hiding, stop waiting for someone to save you. Because no one is coming. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment you step into real power. Not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that liberates you from yourself. When that power rises, everything around you begins to shift. You stop chasing love because you've become love. You stop begging for peace because you embody it. You stop trying to be seen because your presence can no longer be ignored. This is what the 1% understand. The aura isn't built by effort. It's revealed by awareness. The more aligned you are, the more the world rearranges itself around your energy. Opportunities that once felt impossible start finding you. People who once drained you quietly fade away. The frequency you carry starts determining the reality you live in. But this path isn't for everyone. It demands letting go of everything false. And most people cling to the illusion because it feels safe. They'd rather stay asleep than face the discomfort of awakening.